Hello guys, this is Ray here once again from shortcrashcourse.com, and in today's video we're going to be talking about what WordPress developers should know. Okay, so as a WordPress developer, what are the things that you need to know? What are the skill sets that you need to have um, concerning your WordPress journey? So basically, I've divided this into three different areas: for the beginners, the intermediate guys, and the experts. Okay, so if you're just starting out in WordPress, these are the things you need to know. Okay, as a beginner, the first thing you need to know is having a basic knowledge of the WordPress user interface, the back end, the post, the pages, the plugins, the themes, and all those things, and what they do. Okay, that's the first thing you need to know. Then the second thing is to have basic hosting skills. Should in case you're using the hosted version of WordPress, where you have to host the WordPress on your server and know how to log into your server, go to cPanel, check some things, check the code, and ensure that everything is working. And the third one is content creation, how to publish content using the Gutenberg or the classic editor. Okay, and the next one is image optimization, understanding that an image that is heavy, that is not optimized, will load your pages and your website ultimately slowly. And then the next one, number five, is to know the common WordPress issues and possible solutions so that when an issue pops up, which definitely you're going to encounter, maybe a 504 error, a 503 error, and all those kind of error, you need to understand those error codes and their meaning, at least on the basic sense, so that when those things comes up, you know possibly this is where the issue could be coming from. And the sixth on the line is SEO, search engine optimization, very important. If your website is not visible on the internet, people are not seeing it because you're not doing the right thing on SEO, you will not have progress in terms of your site. You will not have growth. And the last one, but not the least, and very crucial, is basic security. Know security of the WordPress system, installing plugins, changing the login URL from the default WP / admin, and customizing a new safe, secured login URL that people do not know, and so many other security features that can safeguard your WordPress content management system, your website from hackers and all possible sort of intruders. So now that's for the basic sense. And for an intermediate person that has gone beyond the basic thing, managing the WordPress site and all that, you need to know everything that the beginners know, which is normal. Then you need to know basic HTML and CSS, know how to write some code, because there's some things that might have you to write some code, maybe like customizing some things. So let me give you an instance. For instance, now if you come to this site, now let's assume that the color or the font of this place is not okay, and on the theme I don't have an option to do that. I can easily right click here and inspect this element. Okay, so now this particular element, I can go ahead to customize it. So now this element now, or this H2 that we have here. So this is the element. You see the font size is 1 EM, the font weight is normal. So font size 1 EM, font weight normal. So you see that changes here. But this is not, I have not taken effect because I have not implemented it, but I'm just checking it on the preview to see how it looks like. So if I wanted to add something else here, maybe let's say color. Let's say I wanted to add color, I could say color red important. Okay, so having these basic skills like this, HTML and CSS is important. Or then I say the font weight, they said normal here. So I can now say maybe font weight. Okay, so let's put 900 for instance. But you have to make it important for it to override the other one because there's something there already too important. So you see now it's more than what it was. So now let me check something else. Let's say something like 1900. Okay, that's more than the specific this thing. So now we go to something else like this. Let's look for something because I want to implement it so that you can see it in action. So color here, it says this color. So let's say we're doing green. So everything turns to green here, right? So now this thing is not live, it's not going to work. If I refresh this page, everything I did here is gone. But to make it implemented live, I'll show you how to do that. But first, let's go ahead and refresh and see if what I did there, the green color, is going to stick around. It's not because I'm just working temporary stuff. So you see, it has gone back. So for me to make this constant, I click on customize. WordPress content management system have a section where it allows you to add a custom CSS code, likewise other code. So you scroll down under this customize menu now, scroll down to additional CSS. So you see here I can put any CSS code I want and it will affect whatever element or content I have on the site. So now this content block one, H entry title A, color green. Now there's something already defined in the code that tells it to be green, so I have to say important for it to overrule that other one and give precedence to this one. Then I go ahead and publish. Now this is implemented really. So if I come to the site back again and refresh, you see that it will turn green because okay, so you can see it's green. So as an intermediate WordPress developer, you need to know basic HTML and CSS so that when things like that comes up, you can work around it. Then the third one now is the basic JavaScript. You need to know how to use JavaScript on the basic sense. There are a lot of issues or things that will come up that will require you to, play around with JavaScript. And there's a place too you can, put JavaScript code to manipulate the DOM of that WordPress site. And you need to know basic PHP. There are things that will come up that will want you to handle PHP. And I'm going to go ahead and show you that here. Let's go back to where we are, this dashboard. So now on the dashboard here now, you come to appearance, you go to theme file editor. So now maybe there's something you need to edit on your theme, or maybe there is a line of PHP that you need to put. So you see a heads up here. You appear to be making direct edit to your theme in the WordPress dashboard is not recommended. Editing your theme directly could break your site and your changes may be lost. So you say, I understand. And like you see, you must be at least an intermediate developer or an advanced developer to be able to come to this area, because if you're a novice, a beginner, you come here, you could break the entire site. So as you can see, the functions of PHP file, the style of CSS, and so many other files are here. So let's go ahead and click on this function.php. There are some cases that might require you to come to your function.php and insert some line of code to achieve certain things on your website. So like you see here, there are some things you see here that are basic PHP. If you don't understand basic PHP as a developer, an intermediate developer, you will not know what to do here. And there's sometimes that they will tell you to come and do stuff like what you see here. SVG icons require one. So this is loading an SVG icons from a particular .inc file. And there's so many other things that you can implement here, but you need to have a basic knowledge of PHP, at least the basics, so that you can understand what is here and you can know how to place those code, then update the file. Okay, so we're going to go back here, and the last but not the least is to know how to use PHP admin. For instance, if you're moving a website, a WordPress website from one hosting to another hosting, or you're changing the domain name from one domain name to another new domain name, you have a need to go to your PHP admin is basically the software that powers the MySQL database that your WordPress is running on. So when you get there, you have to edit an option table. There are a lot of tables on this particular database. You have the user table, you have the options table. The options table stores a lot of options like the URL for the website. So since you're using a new URL, a new domain, you have to go there and change it. If not, while trying to load the new WordPress website, it will keep loading to the old domain that's no more existing. Okay, so that's the reason why, as an intermediate WordPress developer, you need to know how to use PHP admin so that when things like this come up, you can go there and change the URL from the old one to the new one and then save it. That's the only way you'll be able to go back to your WP admin, because if you don't change it from there and you're trying to access your WP admin with a new domain, it will keep routing you to the old domain. So that'll be all in the intermediate. Then we go to the expert. As an expert WordPress developer, you need to know what beginners know and know what intermediate knows. Then with the additional things I'm going to list out here. And the number one is to know how to develop a WordPress plugin. WordPress plugin is a set of PHP files, JavaScript, CSS, and all that that builds up the functionality that you need for that plugin to do to add up to the WordPress content management system. So the next thing you need to know how to do is how to develop a WordPress theme. Okay, WordPress themes too are just like plugins, but have their own different structures and apply to the look and feel of the website, while the plugins adds to the functionalities and features of the website. Now, the fourth thing you need to do is to understand the WordPress core files in and out, in and out. There's a structure, the directory, you study everything, you understand what each and every one of them does, and at what time they changes, and so on and so forth. Number five, you need to understand how to use WordPress hooks. Hooks are basically some kind of programs, set of programs that you use to manipulate the WordPress core files from the back end. There's some things you need to do. You just use your hooks to write them from the back end to enhance or add more feature to that WordPress current instance. Then number six is having proficient knowledge of WordPress in all angles, all ramification, understand WordPress in and out. Then number seven is Photoshop or other photo editing software. Sometimes you want to build a team. The first thing you need to do is to design how the team will look like before you now convert that design to the actual team. Okay. Then number eight, which is the last but not the least, is to have proficient knowledge of Figma or other wireframe software for design sketching. You can use Figma to design the look, how the website is going to look like before you now convert it to HTML and then start using that to implement your WordPress theme. Okay, guys, so that will be all for now on this video on what WordPress developers should know. And I believe this is going to be a very practical guide for anybody that wants to become a WordPress expert. So you know where to start from, you know where to go to, and you know the last place to know that, oh, I'm good. So that'll be all for now in this video on what WordPress developers should know. And I expect to see you in our next video. Bye for now.